My name's Jake and welcome to Can I Fix It? Today I'll be doing something a little bit out there. Let's open it up and see what we got. We have got a pink Tamagotchi circa 2004. Now I used to actually have one of these. They were all the rage back when I was in elementary school, and I remember I made my parents go to the store to buy me one, and the only one left was the hot pink version. But I didn't even care. I just wanted one so I could be cool like my friends. So the listing on this guy says, this Tama turns on and the sound and C button work fine, but the A and B buttons only function if they're pressed very forcefully, making it difficult to play normally. Apparently the C button here is working just fine, but the A and B buttons are not. First of all, let's open it up and see if there's a battery in. Looks like I'm gonna have to go out and buy a battery. So, believe it or not, I actually checked my junk drawer and I'm pretty sure I found the right battery. Let's pop it in there and see if it fits. Got some sort of sound. Nothing on the screen though. Okay, when I hold it in, look at that. Let's put the battery cover back in. So, none of the buttons are doing anything, but then again, I'm not sure what they're supposed to do, so that did something. That appears to be in Japanese. So I had to call my friend who speaks Japanese to translate that last screen. But basically, those were two different options. The one said load, so that was to load the previous game, and the second one is reset. This would really help if I had bought one that was in English. Okay, so the C button is supposed to be making a sound right now. It does look like it's working. So the final verdict is that the A and B buttons are a little bit sticky. The A button is definitely the worst. I have to press that multiple times before it finally goes. B button works most of the time, and the C button seems to work every time. So we've narrowed down our problem. It's these two buttons. Let's open it up and see if we can't clean them and get them working better. So this is what the inside of a Tamagotchi looks like. So the buttons are on this side, so we'll have to take off the board if we can. It's like we've got, again, 4 small screws right here on the outsides. So we've got the LCD, and here are those buttons. It's like they're all connected into one. Those just press down and come back up. So I'm just going to give both this a clean and the contacts which they push down into a clean. We'll get those both nice and clean and we'll see if that helps the buttons be less sticky and more reliable. We'll be using 99% isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip. There is a lot of dirt on there. Alright, that looks like it's all dried up. Let's get this thing put back together. Well, looks like I've broken the screen somehow. That's great news. The good news is the buttons do work a lot better. Let's see if I can fix that screen now. I figured out what happened, and unfortunately I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix this. That LCD right there slid down a little bit. So when I was screwing those screws back in, I was actually screwing into the LCD. You can see I've made this imprint into it from where I screwed, and you can see the 2 screw holes there. So that's really unfortunate. I didn't know that this thing shifts around. It's just part of the risk that you take when you take things apart without really knowing what you're doing. Luckily, I don't really care about this thing at all. So good news, I'm actually not quite so sure that was the problem. So I found out that this whole thing just comes off and it's actually separated into 3 parts. And that part that I was drilling down into is actually just a piece of paper that is kind of like the backdrop. So I've flattened that out, back out as much as I can. right here is what contacts with these contacts here. I'm wondering if maybe that just wasn't on exactly right. I'm gonna try to be really careful this time and make sure that that is on there correctly. Let's see if it's working now. Look at that, it's working again. I'm actually glad that I made that mistake because it helped me to see how that LCD was actually attached. I didn't know any of that. I'm glad that I didn't ruin the screen permanently, but it was a good learning experience at least. I'm gonna put this reset button back here. Let's get this thing all put back together and we should have a fully functioning Tamagotchi. Okay, we'll put the battery back in now that it's put back together and give it one last test. I hope everything is working as it should. Screen's on, B button works, A button is working beautiful. We can actually set the date. It looks like that button's working as well. So we started with a Tamagotchi that had a really sticky A button and a semi-sticky B button. We managed to take the whole thing apart, clean those buttons, clean the contacts, and get those buttons working as they should again. We did have a little bit of a scare with the screen not working, but we were able to get that fixed up. I'm Jake with Can I Fix It, and thanks for watching.